What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Play-by-Play podcast. My name is Brian Bedell. I'm joined with Alex Regi, AJ Savidra, and new addition, Cody Reitmeyer. We're going to lead off today's episode. We're going to talk a little baseball. I know it's a little boring right now, baseball. It's before the winter meetings. Season ended, a month ago or so, around there?
Yeah.
But it's a lot of good free agents, and the 2025 Hall of Fame ballot came out, so we're going to spend some time talking about that. Let's go ahead. First thing we'll do is I'm going to retract what I said last week. Made a mistake. I don't know ball. Roki Sasaki can't get 30 mil. He can only get like 8.
Yeah.
That was dumb of me to say. But either way, let's kind of, after a week's gone by, let's kind of revisit Juan Soto. He met with pretty much all the teams that he is interested in, that being the Dodgers, the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the Mets, I believe, are the 4 that he met with. Not really a whole lot of shockers. I'm curious to see what you guys get, but what did you guys think about everybody saying that the meeting with the Yankees did not go well? Like, what do you think the Yankees said in there that wasn't good?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably got to do with the money, realistically. I saw something where he wants about 12 to 13 years for about 45 annually. That's a lot of money.
That's cheaper than I thought.
Really?
In my opinion, I would have been fine if the Mets signed him.
You got to think about it, though. People were complaining about Shohei getting 60. Juan Soto would only be getting 15 less than that per year.
Shohei got 70.
Yeah, Shohei got 70.
Shit, yeah.
70, yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, but still.
Nobody knows ball.
Sorry, 607, my bad. It's a lot of money. Yeah, but 45, and that could be the minimum, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, he might get 50. But just for a hitter, yeah, he's young and obviously one of the best in the sport. But I think ultimately that's what it comes down to, is the money.
But wouldn't you, like, sitting back, at least maybe for teams, no offense, that would open up the pocketbook for 45 million? Would you be mad if the Angels were to sign Juan Soto to like $46 million a year? I personally would say no. Like I said, I was fully expecting Juan Soto to be like 55 mil.
I mean,
a year.
As an Angels fan, obviously, I don't think we would be upset with that at all.
Oh yeah, because
we want to spend the money, right? But you get Juan Soto. Maybe the Yankees thought, like, or in the meeting, right? They're kind of explaining, hey, Juan, we got a lot of pieces that we need to fill. So let's see if we get like a hometown discount. You played with us last year. Let's see. And maybe he's like, fuck that.
Yeah,
I can go across the street
totally see that. Yeah.
to the Mets and then get exactly what I want.
Yeah, exactly what you want. And you hopefully get to lose.
And you're still going to be able to compete at least.
Yeah. I think it could be something along the lines of, when you sign a Shohei for 70 mil a year, it's because he's going to bring in a market. And Juan Soto is probably going to bring in a market, but if you look at the Yankees, they're probably saying, hey, the face of our franchise is not you. The face of our franchise is Aaron Judge. We don't need you to bring in that market. You're not going to do that for us. So maybe that's where the hometown discount comes in, because he's not going to bring in that much more to market. They've already seen it for a year, how much more he's going to bring in, and they know Aaron Judge is the face. And I'm sure Soto wants to go somewhere where he's going to be the face of the franchise. Yeah. He's going to be 26, 27, 28 years old. So he's going to be hitting his prime. He's going to be trying to win MVPs. He wants to be the guy. I don't think he wants to be a second fiddle to the Yankees, to the Aaron Judge. So maybe that's a reason why it doesn't go as well.
Then I'd say if you're going to go off of that, he's probably going to be a Red Sox, because like when you think about it, the Dodgers, he's never going to be the face of it, because as long as Shohei Ohtani's there, any team, it doesn't matter if Shohei Ohtani was on the A's.
Yeah,
he's going to be the face of baseball, so it doesn't matter. The Mets, I mean, he's obviously a better player than Francisco Lindor.
Mm-hmm.
But Francisco Lindor is the Mets captain.
He was
the runner-up. He was the runner-up for MVP. Like, that's the face of the Mets. But you could see, like, in that instance, them being kind of like
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because obviously Soto's the better player, although Lindor is really good. But Lindor also has been there for longer and whatever. Yeah. But the Red Sox,
they need
Rafi Devers.
Yeah.
But like the Red Sox kind of been quiet. Like, and Rafi Devers is a quiet player.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know, you could easily go to the Red Sox and be the face of the franchise.
Yeah.
Just because the type of player Rafi Devers is. I mean, let's be honest. If Aaron Judge was on the Red Sox, which I'm sure Yankees fans just threw up, but if he was, he's a quiet player too. I'm not too sure that Aaron Judge would get, that as marketable if he wasn't on the Yankees, just because he's such a quiet player. He just kind of lets his do the talk.
Right.
Juan Soto doesn't. So I think that could be, if you're going off of like wanting to be a face, I mean, it makes sense because you don't want to be overshadowed by your own teammate to win MVPs.
Right.
And if Lindor stays hot, he'll be up for a few MVPs. You're never going to be, if Ohtani can stay healthy, nobody's going to win the MVP except for him. But obviously you wouldn't go to, and plus with the MVPs too, staying in the AL would be beneficiary to him because then you just have to beat out Judge, Bobby Witt, and all that instead of having to somehow compete with a dude that's going to hit 40 home runs and have a 2 ERA.
Yeah.
So,
but here's the thing: do you think if the Dodgers give him the number he wants, do you think he's willing to take a kind of a step back and not be that guy to be on a championship team?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's tasted the World Series. He won it when he was 20 years old. Then he just went to the Yankees, who completely choked it away. So, yeah, I think if he goes to a team like that, I would for sure do it if I were him.
There's realistically, I'd say there's only one guaranteed World Series team right now. Like, you could ask anybody. Obviously, with the bringing back all their healthy players, you would feel comfortable putting the Dodgers in that NL slot
At the top of the
World
list.
Series.
Yeah.
But that flips a little bit if Soto goes to like the Phillies or to the Mets. Because the Mets Dodgers was closer than it was. Then also they're not going to pay for him, because if they were going to pay for him, they would have just re-signed him. Padres. But I don't know. It's almost a guarantee that they're going to certainly be competing in the NLCS. Anything can happen in 7 games, but if he signs 10 years, you're looking at probably about 6 or 7 World Series. If they win half of those, he's 3-4 time World Series champion. So
I mean, as a casual like baseball fan, I just think it would be cool for him to go to the Red Sox. Like, seeing him be the guy in Boston.
I can speak on that. Yeah,
Yankees have their guy in Judge, Frankie Lindor in New York, and obviously the Dodgers have everyone.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty sick to see him there and kind of take over Boston.
As a baseball fan, I think it'd be nice too, because then you really get that Yankees-Red Sox rivalry again.
Sure, yeah.
Where that's died down a lot. I'd argue that that's nowhere near the biggest rivalry in baseball anymore. The Dodgers have arguably 2, if not the 2 biggest rivalries in baseball, between them and the Giants and them and the Padres.
Yeah.
And the Red Sox, they've kind of fallen off in the 10s, and I understand neither team has won a World Series since the Yankees did last. And
between the Yankees and Red Sox.
Yeah,
Red Sox won
in
13
and 13. Yeah,
they won again in 17.
17.
Yeah.
You're right. My bad. They cheated. You're right.
Chris Sale.
I forgot. My bad.
Mookie was on the team,
Mookie
right?
was on the team. That bad.
Chris
We'll
Sale,
cut that.
But even that was a streaky team, though. That team,
And
really,
cheated.
you didn't see them
It was
going.
like August, September, and you're like, oh, you know what? The Red Sox are really good out of nowhere, and then they just steamrolled. Yeah,
They're banging trash cans too, but that's all right. But yeah, I think that it's a rivalry. Obviously, it's the most historic rivalry in baseball, but it needs a spark. Like, because even when because going off kind of what you guys corrected me with, in 2017, I don't think the Yankees were that good. So it kind of seems like when the Red Sox are good, the Yankees aren't. And then when the Yankees are good, the Red Sox aren't. So it'd be nice to have 2 star guys, especially when the Red Sox star guy used to play. It'd almost be like the reverse Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
Where Babe Ruth was a Red Sox, went to the Yankees for his prime. And then now Soto going from the Yankees to the Red Sox for his prime.
Quite the
and
dynamic.
We'll see, them clash at it for the next 10 years. And I think it'd be good for baseball, but I'd rather him just go across the state.
Yeah, to speak on the Red Sox would be cool. I think that's a perfect fit, but I don't think we've in our lifetimes ever seen the Red Sox spend money on anybody.
No.
And so it doesn't matter how good the meetings went, how much of a perfect fit, how cool it would be to see Judge and Soto playing with each other. I don't ever see it happening. Red Sox have never spent money on anybody.
They didn't even really sign Rafi to a whole lot, right?
They signed Rafi to a lot. Mookie Betts was about to make money, and they shipped them away. Like they
didn't pay Xander.
Yeah. They're just
so
anti.
I definitely see that.
Maybe Juan Soto breaks the mold. Maybe he's the guy they finally bring out the checkbook
But
for.
no better time than now.
Fenway Sports Group also owns them, and when was the last time Liverpool spot someone big? Or the Penguins.
Yeah.
So the Penguins are old. And they don't sign anybody.
You gotta want to compete, right?
Not in baseball, no, because they make a lot of money not competing, so it doesn't matter.
That's fair, but like as competitors, you want to hope that especially if I was a fan of the Red Sox,
If you're an owner of a
if you have
staple team.
if you have the facilities to go get arguably top 5 player in baseball, and we're given the blank check, why not do it? But obviously, the history, they have a history of not be willing to give out the cash.
And you really hope that like no owners like that with, like I said, a staple team, because like obviously any team in the MLB makes money. I mean, the White Sox and A's, who average like 2,000 people at every single game, their owners still made a shit ton of money. And I saw a report, this was months ago, but the White Sox were even looking to cut payroll. I don't know if that's true or not. I just saw it scrolling on X, or Twitter. But at this, you have some owners like, well, the entire group that owns the Dodgers, Steve Cohen,
Artie.
Well, I don't know about that.
Wait, you talking about like rich owners?
Like just no owners that are willing to spend money but to be competitive. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no.
But I don't know who the owner of the Phillies is, but the Phillies, the Yankees sometimes. It seems like Padres.
Yeah.
I'm probably missing a few teams, but you have some owners that their team's always going to be relevant. And then you have these owners that are okay with being terrible and making money. And then when they get like 4 or 5 guys that are really good, maybe they make a playoff push and make a shit ton of money. And then they're like, okay, yeah, back to being terrible again. You hope that's never the Red Sox, though, because like I said, they are. When you think baseball, it's Yankees, Red Sox, now Dodgers, and all that. But like if you just were to ask anybody on the street, Red Sox.
Yeah.
All right. So now I'll pull up here on my phone. We'll go. I lost it. Jesus Christ. Okay, there we go. We'll pull up the 2025 Hall of Fame ballot. These are only the newcomers. These are the first year guys. Obviously, just to throw a name out there, I'm a little disappointed that Todd Helton isn't in the Hall of Fame yet. I think that he should be.
No, he is.
He just did. I just saw a list that said he wasn't, but I thought he just got inducted.
No, he is. He just got inducted.
Yeah, he just did.
Okay.
Maybe it was because he's going to Cooperstown, or he just went to Cooperstown.
Yeah,
So it was
okay.
a last year.
So it might have been just an old one. Okay. All right, so these are the newcomers. We'll go through them. We'll disclaimer that some of these are going to be pretty quick because they probably shouldn't be Hall of Famers. So Cargo's the first guy. Carlos Gonzalez, the outfielder for the Rockies.
My sweet prince.
If Aura was worthy of Hall of Fame, he'd be in 100%.
Oh, yeah.
But what do you guys think about him actually being in the Hall of Fame?
There's no chance. And it just sucks. But I also don't like Cargo. I once stayed through a rain delay for 3 hours in a Dodger game just to watch Cargo go ahead 3-run home run in the ninth. It was very not worth my time. So
I love him even more.
So no for Cargo.
I mean, yeah, the most Griffey-esque swing since Griffey, but
nice.
probably not.
Hall of Fame swings, but
Yeah, no, probably not, though.
Yeah, I'm going to go with no as well.
all right. Curtis Granderson. No, I don't think so. He's a World Series champion.
I think he is.
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
I'm not gonna say what team. Maybe I don't know, but he got.
I was thinking like he played with the Mets, the Tigers,
Yankees.
the Yankees, but I don't see a World Series in there.
I can't remember the years.
Unless
It feels like a World Series winner. Yeah,
Maybe.
Could be wrong, actually. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
But what do you guys think? I'm personally gonna say no.
I think he's on the cusp. He's certainly not first ballot, but maybe enough votes.
He sneaks in there.
I'll lean toward no, but I wouldn't be surprised eventually if he does.
yeah, he could be a 20 years from now committee vote when they're like, Curtis Granderson won a bunch of Gold Gloves and you had a couple 40 home run seasons, but there's no way the writers vote him in. There's no way. Yeah.
No way. All right, this next one, probably our first yes. The King, Felix Hernandez. I'm gonna say yes. I listen.
How many years does it take?
Probably about 5 or 6. Probably about 5 or 6. But I think obviously being up there in Seattle was rough for him. If he was, somewhere where there was a lot more popularity, I think this would be maybe a 1 or 2 year thing. But I think I personally think that if he did what he did with like the Yankees or the Dodgers or just a team that
bigger
the Red
market.
Sox, not just a bigger market, but like a team that was
Winning.
I mean, he never went to the postseason, right? Because the Mariners had that drought for 20 plus years.
Probably
That
not.
they
I don't
just
think
broke.
he did.
I
I don't think he did.
But I mean, I think that he It will take a little bit, but it won't take 20 years. Like Curtis Granderson, I think he gets in.
I got a hot take. I don't think he survives the ballot. I don't think he gets enough votes. And
You don't think he gets enough votes?
and my comparison is Johan Santana is
That's
somebody who has a very similar career, was dominant for a short period of time, won multiple Cy Youngs, and you saw him get like no votes at all. And I think
How many Cy Youngs does Felix have?
he for sure has one. He has got a perfect game.
Yeah.
But it's just the writers suck. They like to see longevity, and there's no other way to put it. There's no other way to put it.
Josh, can you look up how many Cy Youngs Felix won?
You don't think he had longevity though?
You definitely have one for sure.
I don't think so. I think
How many years did he play?
Well, he played for probably 15, but his last
He
like
was
5
good.
years.
His last 5 years,
just
he was
like-
older.
He wasn't
Yeah.
productive or anything.
Yeah.
I think.
But when you think of Santana, his prime was short, like 5 years maybe, like 5 really good
He
years.
had 2 Cy Youngs in 5 years.
Sweet Prince threw a no hitter.
And he threw
only
no-hitter.
one. Yeah, he threw a no hitter with the
One Cy
Mets.
Young.
Sweet Prince.
Through what 100 like
Can
30
I
pitches.
ask Josh for stats?
Go ahead.
Who had more strikeouts, Felix or Johan?
Career?
Career strikeouts. Because this is gonna. He doesn't have wins because he played for the Mariners.
That's
So
fair.
a big determining factor is going to be strikeouts.
Who has more strikeouts?
All right, so real quick off on a tangent, only because I
Certainly
care
it's
about him a lot.
Felix.
Only because I care about him a lot. Is this the same situation where, like, if Jacob DeGrom were to once be up for the Cy Young, since this tail end of his career was always hurt,
Unfortunately,
but he won
really
3
good
Cy
chance.
Youngs. So
DeGrom needs somebody to get in like a Felix Hernandez.
That's
he
fair.
needs that to happen.
So like open the doorway
to
for
open
him.
the door.
Yeah.
But I feel like DeGrom's at this weird thing where, like, yes, he was not injury prone for the first part of his career. It was from 2014 to 2020, 2021 ish, where he wasn't hurt at all. He won 3 Cy Youngs, obviously, but then obviously this tail of his career. Now it depends, I guess, on how he bounces back again. But it's interesting because I'm under the belief this is kind of also contradictory because arguably the best pitcher of all time never won a Cy Young.
Yeah.
But I think that if you win 2 or more Cy Youngs, you should be a Hall of Famer.
Also, real quick, Johan had more.
Oh,
there
so
you go.
Johan had more strikeouts, and
And he barely got any votes.
I don't think he got any. He might have gotten like 2 votes. I think he didn't make it on the ballot, and so that's my comparison. Is like during their peak, Johan Santana and Felix Hernandez are very comparable. Cy Young award winners. Johan
Yeah.
has more Cy Youngs. Johan has more strikeouts. Johan's a lefty. There's underrepresented lefties in the
Lefties.
Hall,
Yeah,
and he didn't survive. So I don't
crazy.
think Felix survives.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean when you put it like that, I mean it's hard to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sucks. I
I'm
mean, it's
saying
one,
no
of,
now.
one of the best pitchers of our generation. It's
That,
that,
and that's what I always see him as, you know.
Personally, you could say yes, but the writers are probably going to say no.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, in the right, like he said, the writers are dumb.
yeah.
All right, next guy, Adam Jones, Baltimore Oriole.
I love Adam Jones.
I love Adam Jones. These guys, these are such like they're all obviously very good because they're up for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But Adam Jones was so much fun to watch. He was just on a terrible Baltimore Orioles team for him in his prime right now with this Orioles team.
He was like a 2020 guy year in and year out.
Every single year, 20 bombs, 20 stolen bases. I don't know if did he ever get 30-30?
I don't think so.
I
don't think the power was there for him.
That's fair.
He always hit
I'm
like
gonna say,
26,
But
27.
elite center field.
Elite.
Yeah.
I'm going to personally, even with, I'm assuming he has multiple gold gloves in center field, I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I think this is another guy that, whereas Cody saw Felix, I think this is a guy we could see probably fall off the ballot after this year.
This is a very good ballot.
Very good.
It's like
It
there's so
is,
many
yeah.
people, and especially now that we're reaching an age where these are guys that we grew up watching,
Yeah.
and we have so many fond memories, and then you look back and you're like, oh, he was only good for 5 years. So it sucks because
But
when
like
you're growing up, you're like, this is a top 10 player in
it
baseball.
depends on where those 5 years are, though, right? Like if you like, obviously, when you're young, like before you're 10, you're watching baseball,
Yeah.
but like you're not really,
You're
know,
not understanding.
You're not understanding it. So if somebody was good from the time for you were like 11 to 16, you
that's a
thought they were
prime.
maybe the greatest
The GOAT.
player of all time.
Yeah.
The greatest player of all. And that's kind of where, for us at least, Adam Jones.
I'll tell
is
you what,
right.
there's-
When you got your guy, you got your guy.
There's somebody on this ballot that is my guy like that for me. Who growing up, I'm like, this is the best player in the league.
one of my guys, I think is going to be a yes because the position is kind of underrepresented in the Hall. This next guy, I think he gets in. The next guy's Ian Kinsler. I think Ian Kinsler gets in. There's not that many second. Think about second basemen
There's
of
not
all
a lot.
time.
Biggio.
Joe Morgan, but when you're building an all-time baseball team, you're asking if you can move a shortstop to second base.
Yeah.
Unless you want to play and don't get me wrong, these guys are obviously Hall of Famers too.
Yeah.
But unless you want Jackie or Drew Morgan, or if you're going to go the whole, let's bring in guys that use steroids, obviously I think the best second baseman of all time then is Robinson Cano. But it just depends. The second basemen aren't very represented in the Hall. And I think there's another second baseman on this list that also gets in the Hall of Fame, but it's going to take him a few years. I think it takes Kinsler a few years too, but I think he will be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, you try to find comparisons, and you bring up a bunch of Hall of Famers, and you're right, second baseman's underrepresented. So you look at Craig Biggio, 3,000 hits. Kinsler didn't get that. You look at Joe Morgan, MVP award winner. Kinsler doesn't have that. But Kinsler is that rare power-speed combo playing second base, and
there's not many of those guys either.
There's not a lot. And I'm curious to see how he stacks up, and I know probably the counting numbers aren't all there, but in terms of second base, probably in the 2010s, top 3 second basemen.
Yeah,
2010s.
I think so.
Yeah, I just don't see it.
And I think
I feel bad saying no, but I just don't see it.
Don't worry, there are at least 2 yeses on this list.
I know there's a couple of yeses. I'm excited.
There are at least, and arguably one of them is for this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, all right, the next guy we have, probably Cody's sweet prince, Russell Martin. Although catcher is, another underrepresented thing in the Hall of Fame. Both catchers on this list for me, because I'll keep my next one short too. I'm gonna say no to it. We'll go to the Dodger fan.
This is my childhood hero. This is why I wanted to be a catcher growing up. You had when his rookie year, I think he stole 20 bases as a catcher, and that's incredible. And then even when he couldn't run anymore, he's 20 home runs and elite defense. That's why I played catcher. And he's just not going to be in the Hall of Fame. And it sucks. It sucks.
I mean, think about it this way. My guy's stuck on the ballot. They won't even take him off yet. David Wright.
Yeah, I could see
he's the Russell Martin and David Wright are with Adam Jones and Curtis Granderson, where they are literally the Hall of Fame. And then you go down. And it's a Hall of
that
Fame
next tier.
But it's I guess the only difference it is between me and him is the fact that Russell Martin had a borderline Hall of Fame career. David Wright was on track to go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But his back gave out on him. Boy couldn't walk anymore. So
I'm not gonna be as nice here. I saw Russell Martin on there, and I thought someone edited it. So
that's crazy.
How
That must be a typo.
That's crazy. That's his go. What's his career WAR?
It's like 30 something, I think.
That's not bad for a catcher. That's not bad for a catcher.
What's
Pudge Rodriguez's WAR?
Well, Pudge is kind of a monster.
Talk about defensive.
Pudge also played for like 20 years.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just curious.
I'm gonna guess 67 for
Damn.
Pudge. I'm gonna guess.
Damn. Holy shit.
You succeed.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
All right, never mind then.
But that's just me. I don't know. I never even would think.
No, that's
Because you think of players that were great with the Dodgers growing up.
He's definitely one of them, though.
But think about would you ever have him in the same breath as Matt Kemp growing
he's
up?
a perennial 8-hole
no
hitter.
way.
He might hit. Yeah, he's
no
gonna hit
way
a
you put him in that same breath. I mean, yeah, it's obviously not just offensive numbers, and he was good defensively, but I mean, you look at that and like I said, the simple comparison of I think you would even take a James Loney when he was with the Dodgers.
Well, relax.
It seems like we all have our guys, right? Across every score, everyone has our guy.
That they're willing to down a hill for.
But we have to realize that sometimes our guy isn't
The
everyone's
guy. All right, the next guy, also a catcher, definitely more on the offensive productivity side, Brian McCann. I'm going to say no as well, although I'm curious to see, Josh, real quick, I know we're throwing a lot at you. How many home runs did Brian McCann hit in his career? Because if he got over
253
I think if he got over 300, he should be a Hall of Famer.
I don't think
as
as
a
a
catcher,
catcher. I think that's the
but-
250 mark, which is still really.
I think he got to 270s.
Let's say 266.
I'm just using my guesses. I hope it's
270
lower now. Lower.
270, right?
Dude,
276 was the
102.
number that instantly kind of in that area. 276 was
And Brian spells it
It
right,
could
and
be.
McCann spells Brian the right way.
No Y in that bitch.
Yeah,
McCann.
catcher. Played a lot of years with the Braves and the Astros.
Yeah, towards the end.
How many dongs?
How many dongs?
282.
Ooh,
All right, that's a
close.
yes for
close.
me.
That's
Yeah,
close.
I-
How many home runs did Mike Piazza hit?
That's
Okay, that's
That's
Roy.
450. It's
Roy's.
well, no, because he's in the Hall of Fame.
He's in the Hall of
and
Fame.
if we know anything about the writers, if you're suspected Roy,
Oh, 420.
You're not sniffing it.
Yeah, look at Gary Sheffield.
Okay, look at David Ortiz.
That's
Big Papi. That's Big Papi.
That's Big Papi. though.
Okay,
That's some respect.
I love Big Papi, but
I'm not going to
cannot
speak on
convince
this
me.
topic.
Also, you could argue that, but like also you could say that like Alex Rodriguez is never going to be a Hall of Famer because
yeah, but that's a shame.
that's a shame.
That is.
I mean, so is Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa.
That's
I know you
crazy.
hate Barry, but that's a Hall
I
of
love
Famer.
Barry. That's the best baseball player of all time. Like,
Roy's don't teach you how to hit a
Mark
ball.
McGuire. They don't.
Still got to make contact on that thing.
Yeah, you do. And by the way, roids only make you recover quicker and make you look stronger, but you recover quick.
It'll make your head grow a little.
Yeah, but over
Well,
a
the size is too
162
big.
game season, that's important.
It helped, yeah, it helped him stay
That's
healthy.
fair, 100%.
Whatever.
All right,
Whatever.
next guy, another second baseman, Dustin Pedroia. What is he? Two-time World Series champion. He also won an MVP.
MVP.
Talk
Yeah.
about my guy.
Laser show.
This
That's
Laser
laser
show
show
right
right
there.
there. Right here.
Laser show.
You're-
Put him in the hall.
This is AJ Short King right now.
I remember wearing
100%.
15 a little bit as a kid, and this is a kid from LA, so I think when he has that kind of cultural impact, even across the world, or I mean across the country, sorry, but
pretty close.
Probably.
across the country, for me, I just think of a guy that was the heartbeat of a team,
Yeah.
and that was Dustin Pedroia. I think he should. Will he? We'll see, but I think
It's going to be like a
he should.
7-year thing. We're not going to be saying
Yeah.
Dustin Pedroia is a Hall of Famer until like the 2030s, but I think it could
definitely
happen.
not a
Well,
first
they're,
ballot.
they're on the ballot for 15.
I
It's
think
like 10 or
10.
15.
They keep changing
I think
it.
it's 10.
You
I
know,
think it used to be 15.
I'm going to say yes, by the way, too, Hall of Famer.
He's definitely much better player than Ian Kinsler. And
Yeah.
yeah,
if a second baseman's going to get in from these guys, it's 100% going to be Dustin Pedroia. Now, yeah, it could be something where it takes a while and then he stays on, he gets 20%, 25%, and all of a sudden people are like, hey, did you know Dustin Pedroia had one of the best 7-year stretches of any second baseman of all time? And then he's going to be 50, 60, and yeah, he'll be pushing it to the 9th and 10th year. That's who I think Dustin Pedroia is.
I think that's fair.
If he gets in, yeah, it'll be on that 9th and 10th year.
All right, next guy, unfortunately, guy that a lot of injuries kind of ended his career, Handler Ramirez.
oof.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no because I think there's at some point you got to look at the numbers. And unfortunately, I don't think he played enough games.
No.
Now, that's unfortunate because just like my favorite player of all time, you could argue that if he had a full career, this wouldn't be.
That would be a
David
question.
Wright would be
Yeah.
a conversation. Like, is he a Hall of Famer or not still? I don't know if Handler Ramirez would be much of a Hall of Famer. We're like 3 or 4 years down the line, we're looking at him accepting a plaque in Cooperstown.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no, though, just because it's just unfortunate, but it's kind of how it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna go no.
He's a player you look back.
Go Marlins.
He was fun to watch.
Very fun to
But
watch.
yeah, it's just not going to happen for him.
Yeah,
the
kinda-
tail end of that career
yeah.
just like fell
It's
off
just so
way too
unfortunate.
much. Yeah,
I was kind of surprised to even hear his name. Like,
Just, I think you got to show him some respect, though.
his
You know what I'm saying?
Marlins
Because how
tenure,
good he was.
hitting like 340 and stealing 50 bats. It was crazy. And then he went to the
He was kinda
Dodgers.
there.
He went to the Dodgers
Yeah.
and stopped running, but was still hitting like 330 with 20, 25 bombs.
Yeah.
And then Joe Kelly broke his ribs and ruined the season. And he made an error to ruin Clayton Kershaw's perfect game. So
That was kinda it.
That's it. Yeah, once you ruin that, you're gone.
By the way, now that we're on the topic of Hall of Fame, I did remember this. Normally, with notable players, I don't know if you remember this from the Hall. With notable players, someone like a generational talent, obviously a Hall of Famer, Clayton Kershaw, they have people that impacted his career there. And just know that there is going to be an AJ Ellis sighting in the Hall because of how much he got. Because of how much he caught Clayton Kershaw.
It's on his plaque. His favorite catcher was AJ Ellis.
It probably would be.
Austin Barnes he's going to be on the honorable mention.
Yeah, there you go.
No, the reason AJ Ellis had a job for 6 more years was because of Clayton Kershaw.
I watched that man not be able to. Well, he was all right defensively, but he batted 150 every year.
About 4 bombs.
I would have rather have pitchers hit instead of him. But my God, Clayton Kershaw had like a 1.5 ERA with AJ Ellis behind the plate. It was crazy.
That's like 2 years ago. Was it 2 or 3 years ago? When the Mets made their wild card push. Their backup catcher was Tomas Nido.
What?
And their starting catcher was
Was it Darno? No.
No. Darno's been a Brave for a while.
Your GOAT, Brian McCann. Not Brian McCann. James McCann.
Oh my God, it was James.
Was it
McCann.
James McCann?
Yeah, okay, but the Mets staff had like DeGrom, his numbers with Tomas Nido, he had like a .057 ERA or something like that, or a .57 ERA, and then with McCann it was like it was still really, it was like a 2.1 or something. It was still obviously really good, but I mean that 2021 year before he got hurt, right after the All-Star break, he had like a .8 ERA. So, but all right, next guy. I think this is going to be a quick one, quick nose. Fernando Rodney. At least for me, it's a no. I don't even know. This is a guy where I'm not sure why he's on here.
We can
Typo.
We can all put our hats to the side of respect and then move on.
Little Till.
Nice little, the first one to
Yeah, the Archer.
the Archer, and then that's where our Pujols, Mike Trout.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, move on.
Sorry.
That's an easy no.
One of those.
All right, now we get into kind of like the at least two player stretch of easy people. CC Sabathia.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Yeah, that's
I mean, don't even
easily.
need it.
That might be a first ballot. Should be a first ballot Hall of
Yeah.
Famer. 3,000 cases of lefty. Yeah, that's got to be.
No, it is.
I think both these guys that are definite Hall of Famers are also arguably going to be first ballot, because the next guy, Ichiro Suzuki.
Yeah.
Hurry.
Without question.
The only thing I can say is he came over at 30 and he still got 3,000 hits.
That's
Have you ever seen
Need
that?
I
Have
say
you ever
more?
seen that stat where it shows like Ichiro MLB hits, and it started when he played his career in Japan when he was like 19 or something, and it's just like 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 and whatever, and then obviously when he got here at 30, it's just like the next 13 years are just 200, 250, 250, 250, 250.
It's crazy.
Oh my God, dude. It between both, he had like
He's the single season
5,000
hit.
hits, single season hit king. He's at like 5,000 or 6,000 career hits between both.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think now people are starting to accept the fact that most of these Japanese pitchers coming over and players coming over, that maybe we should respect his 2,500 hits in the Japanese league, because they can
Yeah.
dice it up over there. Like, they very good at baseball.
If anything, it certainly wasn't a farmers league. And I think we can
Yeah.
all agree on that.
I think,
for sure.
but back then, a lot of people were like, it's not the MLB.
Yeah.
But
So
then,
it just didn't have that.
that like, but now I
Really
think people are
presence.
starting to realize, and
Yeah.
I don't think they changed. Like, it didn't. I don't think the competition changed that much. I just think that now that more of those pitchers are starting to come over here and dominate, people are like, oh,
They're
shit,
proving
shit,
that
yeah.
what they're
they're actually
doing.
really
yeah.
fucking good.
I think really, if anything, with these guys, they're just throwing harder now. I think that's really the only
But
difference.
that's everywhere.
The stuff has always been nastier, or like nasty, with splitters.
a
But
Japanese
these guys are throwing a lot harder.
players forkball / splitter. I might be the dirtiest pitch in baseball. I don't know how they all throw it, but literally every single person, like good Japanese pitcher you think of right now, obviously Sasaki's coming over. His dominant pitch, splitter, and his 100-mile-an-hour fastball. But Yamamoto, dirty splitter. Shohei, dirty splitter. Obviously Senga with the forkball. Like, same thing, for same premise.
same
pretty much.
movement. Yeah.
Like, you have like, it's just like they teach them when they're like 3. All right, you don't grip a baseball like this. You grip a baseball however that person holds the fucking splitter.
I don't even know.
And
My
it's
hands
like,
are
you
too
gotta
small.
just fucking throw it like that. I mean, I saw a still of Otani. It was like Otani. I forgot there was an American that threw a splitter, but he throws a splitter like that. And then there was a
Otani's
side
on the
by
side
side
of
of
it.
like Otani, Senga, and Yamamoto, and they're literally gripping. I don't understand how they throw the ball. It's like that.
That's not.
They
I'm
had
like,
to be
how
taught
the
that so
hell-
young.
Yeah.
How the hell
Train
do you
your
even like?
fingers.
Yeah.
If I tried to throw that
Get that webbing right
In
here,
our-
just like loose, natural.
in our Sunday league game, I was warming up with Cody, and I was like, "Hey, I want to try and throw a splitter, whatever." And so I'm throwing it, and it had decent movement, but I couldn't throw more than 40 feet.
Yeah.
Like, it'd get there and die. It'd look all right, except if I was playing a t-ball, it'd
Yeah.
be a dirty pitch.
Yeah.
But I was trying to grip it like that. And I was like, dude, if I tried to grip it any lower, that thing would end up in the other dugout. Like, I don't understand how the hell they grip the ball like that. It's insane.
Yeah.
All right, next guy. I love this dude so much. Troy Tulowitzki.
Oh.
I love Troy to injuries root. No. I'm going to keep mine. I can't even bear saying no, but it is obviously a no, at least for me.
He might have had only one full season in his whole
know.
career.
So good,
Yeah.
dude. So good.
I was the looks of the best shortstop of all time,
Of all time.
and then just played a
Back, was it his back or his knee?
probably this
It
whole
was
body.
everything.
Both
to be
of
honest.
it.
Everything.
Everything.
And then when he went to Toronto, it was the ankles because of the turf. And then
Oh man.
talk about a what if guy.
Love
That's
him.
one of
That
the biggest
guy-
what ifs.
I mean, I think you ask any Rockies fan, you probably would take Tula over Cargo.
Oh yeah, I think
And
so.
I mean, obviously Cargo was the sexy swing as
Yeah.
far as that, but the shortstop, the sexy position there, that was their guy.
Yeah.
It just sucks that, injury after injury just didn't stop.
32 teams in the MLB. Obviously the Rockies had him, and he was always hurt. I'd argue that there were 25 plus teams that would have taken Troy Tulowitzki almost literally at any point, just because what he could have been once he came back from an injury, whatever injury it was at that time.
Just
And
potential.
what if he could have stayed healthy? I think that Troy Tulowitzki was one of those guys where you'd risk like signing him or trading for him while he's hurt, because you're like, we can get him on the low here and he's gonna be generational talent. But just another one of those guys that he had a lot of home runs too I mean, I understand, people are gonna say he played in Colorado, whatever, but ball still got to go over the fence. And he was so good.
Yep.
So, and defensively so good. So good.
Yeah.
But Josh, you have it pulled up. Did he win? How many Gold Gloves did he win? Did he win 2?
Only
How many games in his career did he play?
Go to those Gold Glove seasons and see how many games he played.
Probably about 50.
130.
It should just be like G or GP for games played.
Yeah, man. What was that?
It's because he used the same glove his whole career. Have you seen those pictures?
No.
Really?
He used the same glove, maybe
do you-
even from college. And he would just keep sending it into Rawlings and be like, I need this fixed. And they just kept patching it up.
That leather was the big beat.
Oh,
Yes.
when you get a chance, look up Troy Tulowitzki glove.
He played
It's the
1,200
most-
games.
Yeah.
Across what? He played only 1,200 games
13 seasons.
over 13 seasons.
90 games.
That's averaging just over 100 games a year.
No.
Or
Less.
just under 100 games a year. You're right.
Yeah.
Let's pause real quick. The camera overheated.
Just overheated? Okay.
Look up Troy Tulowitzki glove.
I play Twitter instead. All right, guys, that was our Hall of Fame thing. We kind of had a technical difficulty, and we kind of all came to the consensus that although we left one off Ben Zobrist, it was a unanimous no from all of us, unfortunately, for
Sorry,
the
Ben.
king of utility. Sorry, Ben, if you're somehow, some way ever see this.
Well, other guy.
But we're going to go ahead. That's going to end our MLB stuff. We're going to go on to the sport that's actually in season. We're going to go to the NFL. We are filming this Friday. So the Browns did already beat the Steelers in a snowstorm. Let's go ahead. If you guys want, let's talk about that game for a little bit. What do you guys take away from that game? Can the Steelers kind of bounce back? I'm curious to see what you guys think. You want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. I mean, for me, instantly after the game finished, I just thought how inconsistent the AFC North is. Like all 4 teams, right? Browns beat the Ravens. Ravens lose to the Steelers. Ravens sweep the Bengals. Like, it's just very frustrating, especially as a Ravens fan, obviously, because it doesn't seem like anyone can start taking that lead in the division. It's a very tight division, like it is every year. I mean, the second thought was Jameis Winston. I want to play for him.
Yes.
Like, I want him to be.
I love
He is going to be such a good coach in 10 years. 5-10 years. Like,
fucking coach. I want him in the booth.
That's where I want.
I want him in the
I want him-
so I can hear him.
I
talk.
want him in Booger's old seat, the one that used to fly around on the sideline.
so he could shout at players.
By the way, nobody would have a problem. You know how everybody would cuss out Booger?
Yeah.
He'd be like, fuck you, Jameis.
People would buy people would buy tickets just to see him there. But yeah, I think he just showed that. I think he is still a starting caliber quarterback. Obviously, he has a job now. It's kind of interesting to see what the Browns do from here next year. Like, are they going to move on from Deshaun?
They should.
Everyone, I think fans want them to. Obviously, they have that terrible contract, so
It's $150 million the next 2 years in dead cap.
disgusting.
Wow.
Like it's 70 and then like 60 or
Yeah.
something like that, or
But-
70 and 70.
So
or something
do
like
you? I believe Jameis is on him 1 year. Do you re-sign him to kind of be your veteran guy next year and then draft a young guy this year? Because I feel like, especially in this draft, there's a lot of developmental guys. Certainly not a lot of guys that you want to throw in the fire week one.
that? Not a CJ Stroud or a
Not a CJ Stroud. I mean,
Jaden
Jaden
Daniels.
Daniels.
Jaden, Caleb. They obviously
Well,
everyone knew they were going to start. Everyone knew they were going to start. But I don't think. I think you'd be okay with if you're the Browns. You're winning
AR.
maybe 7-8 games. You could maybe you get like a Jackson Dart, have him sit there for however long until you
You can
want
get him
to.
late too.
Yeah, exactly. You could get him second, third round probably.
Ooh, really?
I don't think he goes in the first. I think it's going to be really top heavy as far as quarterback
Shador.
goes. Top like it is every year. Top 15 picks, probably 3, 4, maybe 5 quarterbacks.
Who's that?
depending.
Shador.
Shador, Cam Ward,
Quinn
Jalen Miller
Ewers,
probably. Quinn Ewers. Carson Beck might slip in there. That's kind of gross.
That's gross. I think he's going to go more the Stenson.
Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, maybe like the 6th.
But yeah, I think you draft any one of those kind of developmental guys to sit behind him next year, and save a lot of money on quarterback. And it shows if he's safe with the football, he can win you football games.
Oh yeah,
So
but it also depends on if you trust Stefanski enough. I mean,
I feel like he's such a good coach still.
no, I
Coming off
I
of
think
a
so,
coach
too.
of the year too last
Dude,
year.
he's a
so-
two-time coach of the year winner.
Yeah, he is. I think he's still their guy. I think they believe in him.
Yeah.
You just got to figure out this Deshaun Watson problem.
Because like if you trust the process, I mean, look at the way the Broncos are. They're eating 80 million dead cap, and it looks like Bo Nix is really good. And obviously they have Sean Payton. Like everybody knows who Sean Payton
Yeah.
is, but I think it's only 2 years of dead cap for Deshaun. You gotta cut it. I think you have to cut it. Whether it's got to be this offseason because you got to try and work the cap to be able. But like now is the perfect time because they don't have a whole lot of big market guys. They traded away Amari Cooper, and other than that, they really I would assume that's going to take a massive chunk of the payroll, and already does is Myles Garrett, but he's already paid. So I don't. Maybe you can hope you catch lightning in a bottle, which Jameis is, and maybe he can produce for you next year, and maybe you can sneak into a wild card. You're probably not going to win the North, but sneak into a wild card or something like that. But then you can draft somebody else and have him learn. Who better to learn under? Like, let's be honest, screw like learning under Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. Like, I'm assuming like Jameis would be the perfect person to learn under because he could honestly, he's an NFL quarterback. He can offer a lot. Any NFL quarterback can offer a lot. But also, I feel me personally, just watching Jameis, a lot of the other quarterbacks don't really want to teach their replacement.
Yeah.
I don't know why Jameis just kind of rubs me off as like he'll talk to anybody.
Well, yeah, I mean that just kind of shows the kind of like leader he is.
Yeah.
Kind of, he's a real like club mentality, team mentality guy. He'll do what he has to do. I mean, he's even said that he knows he's a starting quarterback in this league. He just needs his time to shine, and he's had that the last couple weeks. Obviously, he's thrown a couple picks, but it's Jameis, baby. That's gonna happen.
That's Jameis.
That's Jameis football.
Hey, 30 touchdowns, 30 picks, maybe 5,000 yards too. Hey, listen, if he can go to a team with an elite, if he was on the Denver Broncos,
Yeah.
if he just had a team with a good defense, I feel like they could kind of cover up the mistakes he has, which the Browns don't have a terrible. You're going to have a good defense as long as you have Myles Garrett. That's just kind of how it is. But if he could go to a team that has an elite defense, I mean, you could cover up the mistakes Jameis is going to make. But I don't know. I think that you think that they got to cut Deshaun, or
It feels like because you either cut him or you let him be backup for the next 2 years.
how are you going to have
And
him
you
be
just
back and
you
paying him
can't-
$70 million?
You can't justify having him be backup, and that's what happened. Exactly what you said with the Broncos. You can't justify having Russell Wilson be your backup quarterback, but you can't start him anymore. You could cut ties with him. And if you look at the offensive numbers from the Browns, it was worse than their 0-16 season with Deshaun Watson. So it's very clearly not a Kevin Stefanski problem. This doesn't seem like it because now you throw in Deshaun, or not Deshaun, you throw in Jameis, and yeah, immediately the offense everywhere has an uptick. All of a sudden, Jerry Jeudy looks like a wide receiver one.
Cedric Tillman.
Cedric Tillman comes out of nowhere. David
winner.
Njoku is a top 3 tight end. It's crazy. And Nick Chubb, who's coming off his second massive injury, averaging less than 3 yards per carry, can still punch in 2 touchdowns because the offense is more efficient. Now, I don't know if Jameis is a starting quarterback because of the turnover problems.
Sure.
But he is currently the perfect backup quarterback for a team. Because I'm a Cowboys fan. Cooper Rush comes in. You can't do anything with Cooper Rush. He has to be safe, short. Don't mess up the play. Jameis Winston's somebody who comes in, who's been a starter, who's shown success, and he can come in and sling it for 10 weeks for you.
Yeah, and you're gonna win games. You're gonna lose games because of Jameis Winston, but you're definitely gonna win games because of Jameis Winston too. That's just kind of Jameis Winston's the only guy I know that can throw for 250 yards in that weather.
There's the show.
I mean, you're right. He is the perfect backup.
Do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the Steelers? See how they looked. Obviously, being on the losing end after coming off of a big win against the Ravens. I mean, I think all of us here kind of expected the Steelers to win this game with that defense and how the offense has been kind of clicking with Russell back at quarterback. So, what do you think?
I don't know. It's crazy. It's one of those division games that's always going to give you issues. No matter no other way you look at it, you play them twice a year, and I just, for whatever reason, you always had that feeling in the back of your head that obviously they had the 8-2 record going in, where you're like, why does this feel like it's going to be a close game? And it was. Team had the last possession. I mean,
Bar the
Chubb didn't really have to punch it in, but I'm sure it did good for his spirits.
Good for my
but the defense looked great all game. George Pickens is always worried about throwing hands instead of catching Hail Marys. So,
so unserious.
So that's how division games are. It's just scrappy, gritty. And I mean, look at the weather. Yeah, guys couldn't see. I think Jameis said he had to take his visor off. Couldn't see. And I think that's Browns football, though.
My favorite is they pan in on Jameis close, and he's looking like. He's like,
even with LASIK.
Jameis can't even freaking see, dude. Like,
oh yeah, even when they kicked the field goal, you're seeing it on TV. You're like, where the fuck did the ball go?
Was that good? Did it go in?
Just gotta look to the refs go like this. Like, okay, it's in.
Hopefully the refs
take their word for it.
Yeah, I'm about to say. I think you know this the best. I think obviously almost any division game in any type of division in the NFL, you kind of throw to the side when it comes to teams from. I think it's even more for that North Division, and then also on top of it, the weather. I don't think this speaks to the way the Steelers are.
Yeah.
I do think that they're.
No, it's a massive trap game.
You're
coming off a big division win, and then you go on a short week on the road in the snow.
Against
it was almost. We should have looked more into that when we all picked the Steelers to win.
Yeah. I mean, because just looking back at the Ravens Steelers, they were beating each other up all game, man.
That's how the North is, though.
Yeah, it's hard-nosed football, right? Obviously, like you said, going into the game, I guarantee you there was no one on the Steelers that was feeling 100%.
No,
they're a little sore.
Oh yeah,
coming off of 3.5 days rest or whatever it is. But I just like how it's competitive always. It even. I mean, you talk about look at the Bengals, Joe Burrow having a career like 7-game span, but their defense couldn't stop a nosebleed.
No,
I feel bad for him. I mean, me, I've always been a Joe Burrow hater, but I mean, you can't argue with numbers.
Putting up arguably MVP numbers, and they're 2-8 or something.
27-4 right now, I think he is.
Yeah, something crazy,
it's ridiculous, and they just can't win football games. Obviously, as a Ravens fan, I'm okay with that. beat them 2 times, but it sucks for them, and that just shows how competitive the North is for sure.
I think kind of to wrap this up, although I will say I don't think the Steelers have the offense, even with Russ and kind of how they're looking a little better, to be serious in the playoffs when it comes down to the game.
But they got the defense.
They got the defense. Let's go to another person. We were talking about people that arguably turned the ball over.
It was falling the whole time. It's okay.
That's all right. Friends suck anyways.
That's fucking.
You could argue that even though this team's 7-3 and their quarterback is very good, you could argue that this is another team where they're not going to progress in a Super Bowl manner because their quarterback also is a gunslinger and turns the ball over a lot. The Green Bay Packers play the 49ers this week. I don't know if you guys saw the news, but the 49ers literally have nobody.
Yeah.
No Brock.
Yeah. No
No
Bosa.
Bosa. Maybe no Trent.
Wow.
As
That
well.
would be
Obviously, no Brandon Ayuk.
And Brock looks like it's not even just going to be a 1 week thing. It
No,
looks
it's
like
a shoulder. It's not good.
It's going to linger for sure.
Yeah.
But and their defense is struggling. But let's pan it back from this game. Do you think the Green Bay Packers are legitimate again this year where they can go and win the NFC Championship and go to the Super Bowl? Or do you think this is a type of thing where Love turns the ball over too much to be able to do that?
I don't know. I think sometimes he gets, he played a tough division game too. So I feel like I'm a big believer that you can never overlook, no matter the record. We just saw a prime example, with the Browns yesterday. And the Bears had have a great defense. So I think, it's been an issue for obviously the whole season, but I wouldn't pay too much attention to it. I think they got great weapons, got a great coach. They have a really good run game with Jacobs. So I wouldn't be too worried about it, but I think for sure if you want to limit that, you definitely got to get that run game going so you don't have to rely on Jordan Love so much to make that big play. Whereas you can ground and pound with Jacobs, and he can make that great play if he needs to, because he certainly can.
He could. What do you think?
Jordan Love makes too many Will Levis type plays. There's just no way to put. I watch a game and he's in the end zone getting sacked, does a 360 and throws it, and it's just right at a defender. And so you cannot win a Super Bowl that way. They can win a ton of games. You can win a wild card game. You can maybe even get into the championship game, but it's just not a formula to win the Super Bowl.
When it's the game.
When it's
like
the
when it's the
most
championship
important
games in
game,
the Super Bowl.
the best team has 2 weeks to prepare against you.
Plus, you probably got to play against the Lions.
Yeah. So it's just if he tones it down, the flashy Brett Favre type, sling it, hope for the best, because he makes some of the best throws in the league.
Yeah.
But he compounds it with some of the worst plays in the league.
I hope he can turn around like Josh Allen.
It's just bad decision making, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
For me at least, I think about it, look at the weapons that they have. He doesn't need to make those crazy Brett Favre type plays. He doesn't need to sling the ball 35 times a game. Use your weapons. Use Josh Jacobs as, an all-pro. Have him feed him the ball. You paid him, give him the ball, right? And then, you play the Lions, or you're gonna fight with the Lions for the first in that division. Lions don't look like they're slowing down anytime soon. They look dominant on all facets of the game. I just can't see, especially if the turnovers stay consistent as they are. Jordan Love leading, tied with Patrick Mahomes and Geno Smith. I think 11 interceptions all
with
season.
2 less games, I think.
Yeah. He was injured in the beginning of the year. Yeah. If those interceptions keep up, especially in the crunch time, come playoffs, come a wild card game, it's going to be tough for them to go any farther than that.
I will say last season, after week 10 or something like that, he did turn it around.
Yeah.
Where after that, he threw for 19 touchdowns. After week 10, he threw for 19 touchdowns and 3 picks.
Right.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's more compounded because, you had Brett Favre, the gunslinger, and then you went to Aaron Rodgers, who maybe threw 3 picks a season. And now you go back to the gunslinger. It's just the roller coaster you got to ride, and maybe he can get hot.
Yeah.
All right, let's go into depth with one more game before we do our pick'em. Probably, I'd say, looking at the slate here, it's probably the game of the weekend. It's a good time. It's a good thing it's on prime time, even though a lot of people are going to think this game's boring, just because the way this game is going to kind of turn out. We got the Harbaugh Bowl again.
The Harbaugh.
We got the
Monday night.
Yeah, that's a good game. I think that's a good
I'm
game.
excited for it.
That's going to be ground and pound, baby. That's going to look like an NFC North game.
Yeah,
but one of the teams is also
AFC
in
West.
also in
Is
the AFC West.
it a J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards revenge game? Both of them?
Yeah.
Greg Roman revenge game, offensive coordinator for the Ravens,
That's true.
and obviously, especially the year he got let go, Ravens fans were calling for his head, and he got the can. Obviously, I want to touch on it just because this is such an important game for the Ravens to win away against a 7-3 Chargers team. Jim Harbaugh came in there.
They're good.
What are you doing, Jim? You got no one to throw to. You gave Justin Herbert no weapons. So J.K. Dobbins has a new life there. So that run game's sick. Justin Herbert looks so comfortable with the weapons that he does have. You look at Quinn Johnson.
He's not a bust anymore.
He's not a bust.
Not a bust anymore.
He's due for a 40-yard touchdown every game, it seems like. And then obviously Josh Palmer's there. Lad McConkey is great.
Yeah.
What a value pick there in the draft too. Who's
White
contributing
motherfucker.
right as a rookie. I think this is just so important. It's a away game. Obviously, a lot of media attention on it being the hard bowl again. You gotta hope that they come back, especially coming off of a bad loss against the Steelers.
To be fair, I don't know if you guys have seen the clips, but I don't understand if there's any possibility that Herbert couldn't be confident. Have you seen the way Harbaugh talks about him to him and to the teammates?
Like they're like best
I
friends.
love Jim
Well,
Harbaugh.
there's the stories where Jim Harbaugh would tell everybody Justin Herbert's the best quarterback in the NFL, and that was
When he was
before
at
even-
Michigan,
Yeah,
yeah.
before he
He
even
was
took the
at
job.
Michigan.
He was saying that. So
And I don't know. You know what you're getting with both Harbaughs. You know this is going to be Henry's going to get the ball 25 plus times. J.K. Dobbins and Gus are going to get probably accumulated because J.K. probably can't run it 25 times. They're going to get accumulative of 25, 30 times. This is going to be what running back can break out more, what line. This is going to be who the tougher team is.
do
This
the
is literally
Ravens-
like a NFC North game. Who's the tougher team is going to win the game.
yeah. Do the Ravens have any DBs out?
No, everyone should be healthy
Everyone should
this
be healthy,
game.
'cause I know they've been hurting a little bit,
Yeah.
and Herbert's been slinging a little bit more. So maybe
Yeah, Herbert's
he can
the-
dice them
The
in.
biggest thing is if Roquan plays. He was out with a hamstring. He left, I believe, third quarter against
That
the
controls
Steelers.
the run game.
Yeah.
And you can tell when he was out of the game, that middle was wide open. Najee was eating. But I think he's limited practice. So
He'll probably
Roquan's a
play.
dog. He's
Yeah,
gonna play
he'll
through
play.
it.
And
I
they
just hope he does it.
especially coming off.
depends
of-
on-
I just don't want it to overdo it. Maybe put him a little pitch count just because
Gus, he's
you got to save him for
You're gonna make the
playoff
playoffs,
times,
yeah.
right? You like to think we're gonna make the playoffs, obviously. Honestly, I know the stats don't show it. Marlon Humphrey's been really good. I mean, at least compared to the last couple of years, he's been really good. It's just our safeties outside of Kyle Hampton, who's also banged up too,
Banged up,
hurt his ankles. Like Marcus Williams, fucking terrible. So bad. Eddie Jackson, terrible.
what's his cap hit?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's bad. And then it's just I always joke about how we had Kyle Van Noy in the edge.
Hey, Calvin Noy is a dog.
He's
though,
a dog, bro, but he hasn't produced the last couple weeks. The age is catching up.
I was gonna say, and that's the worry you do have when you have an older guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna have those spurts where he balls out, but over the whole course of a season, especially when you're coming off tough games like the Steelers, that's where you might see that regression.
At the end of the day, Ravens
going up against only Joe.
league leading in penalties in the
It's not the Cowboys.
not the
It's
Cowboys.
also not the Texans with all their
Before-
low starts.
Before last week, the Ravens were at, I believe,
82.
82.
Oh, okay.
They had 10 penalties against the
Jesus.
Steelers. So
Yeah,
they're
no wonder they
leading
lost.
92 penalties. You can't win games
No.
when, one, you have
yourself.
10 penalties a game, and two, Justin Tucker time caught up.
Wow. I think he might have made up my mind for Pick'em this week. I didn't realize how
I
many
will take-
penalties.
Look at the games we've lost. We lost to the Raiders by 3. Justin Tucker missed a field goal that game. We lost to the Steelers by 2. Justin Tucker missed 2
Two
field goals
field
that game. We lost to the Chiefs and we lost by a toe. I mean, it's
That's crazy.
so frustrating as a Ravens fan. I mean, obviously I got to hope for a win, but it's going to be tough. I'm not going to take them lightly at all.
I will tell you, it's interesting. I wonder if the having to modify the way he kicks the ball off has messed with.
Yeah, and if you look at all the tape, every field goal that Justin Tucker has missed this year has been wide left. And it's pretty consistently, right around that 2 to 3 feet left of the bar. So,
Is he missing short ones?
last week he missed a 42.
That's short for him. That's short for him.
Very short for him.
Yeah.
And then he made a 56 and then missed a 52.
I feel
last
like
week.
I feel like it's almost a benefit to where the farther back he goes, it's just kind of more of like a fuck it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I just think kicking,
rip it.
like quarterback, like pitcher in baseball, it's all mental.
oh yeah.
If you're mentally defeated,
It's over.
which he is, obviously.
It's
Look,
like golf.
Yeah.
even if he's not showing it, he's obviously a 10-year plus pro. But that has to fuck with you mentally.
I mean, I know that I personally watch his show. And Pat McAfee always compares punting and kicking to golf. So
Yeah.
like it's just you're only competing with yourself,
Yeah.
and when it's bad,
Yep, it's
It's
bad.
bad.
When it rains, it pours.
and you're just.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing it with McPherson too.
And I felt that. And I
Yeah,
felt that way on
another
the
guy
golf
struggling.
course.
Garcia McPherson.
I felt that way on the golf course. I know that I could probably speak. I know you don't play, but I know you guys consider
Sure.
it that way as well.
All right, let's get into our pick'ems. Obviously, this is filmed on a Friday, so I think we all had the Steelers winning yesterday, Thursday Night Football.
Starting off hot.
Yeah, so 0-1
Did
on
anybody
on,
pick
on the week. Yeah, it's two people out of our pick'em picks.
They're sharp. Get them on the show.
So 12 games total. We'll do
Three,
three
three,
each.
three, three.
Okay,
All right.
I'll start it off. We got the Chiefs going to Carolina. I mean, it's kind of, you want to say an easy win, so I'll go with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think we see a bounce back win here for the Chiefs.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs, but I'll add on top that this is another weird game where the regular season Chiefs will for some reason not cover.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Chiefs too. Yeah.
And then another big division matchup: 8-2 Vikings going to Chicago. 4-6 Bears. I have the Bears. I think obviously last week was very disappointing.
Battle USC quarterbacks.
Battle forward goats. I think they win a crucial game at home. Give me the Bears.
Yeah, I think Sam. We've seen a little bit of regression from Sam as the weeks have gone by. I can see this being a good bounce back for the Bears. I'm gonna take the Bears.
I think Brian Flores' defense is gonna eat Caleb Williams up. I'm gonna take the Vikings.
That was my exact thought. You're gonna have Brian Flores just dialing up blitzes, and what we've seen from Caleb is he's just gonna stand there and get sacked.
Panicky.
So maybe another week without Shane Waldron helps, but I'm gonna take the Vikings.
Let's see. Another in division game. 2-8 Tennessee Titans going to 7-4 Houston Texans. I mean, Cooper Rush last week threw for 350 against the Texans.
Will Levis is good for at least 500.
Will Levis, talk about a fucking quarterback. He'll say,
Yeah.
fuck it, I'll do. Someone's got to be down there, and he's gonna do a 360
Calvin
flip
Ridley somewhere
too.
over there.
Yeah.
Somewhere over there.
Even with that said, I think D'Amico gets them in shape. Give me the Texans.
Yeah, I think we saw how good the Texans defense looked, and that was without Will Anderson and without Kamari Lassiter, who's a defensive rookie of the year candidate. And they're meant to come back this week. I think we see a good, strong defensive showing. I would love to see the offense get going personally. I mean, really, aside from Joe Mixon, Texans still haven't really looked great. Let's see if they get Nico really integrated this week.
They're taking Texans.
Oh yeah,
Shocker.
I'm taking the Texans. So, of
I
course.
would love for the Titans to win this game, but they're not gonna. I'm gonna take the Texans.
Hopefully, another week of Nico Collins back from the hamstring puts up 80 yards and a touchdown for them. It should be an easy
Yes,
win
please.
for the Texans. Yeah, fantasy owners. Yeah.
All righty, and then keeping with that same division, we got the Colts hosting the Detroit Lions. What do you got?
We'll go to Brian first.
Okay, let's see the. Oh yeah,
Let's
our
see the
Colts fan here. What do you got here?
So I want to say this before I'm going to take the Lions.
Okay.
Lions are the best team in the NFL. I can't say that and then not take the Lions. I will say that the Lions have shown that they kind of can't deal. If there's one weakness, they can't really deal with a quarterback that can run. It just honestly, like the tweet I sent, it just depends on where the arrow lands on if AR is going to play like Lamar Jackson or some bum quarterback.
Sean
That's just,
Geiser,
yeah, Sean Geiser. Yeah, that's just kind of how it is. You get one drive of each. But the Lions are the best team in the NFL. They don't make mistakes, and AR is still going to make mistakes. And although it's a home game, there's going to be a lot of people traveling from Detroit. It's probably going to be majority Detroit fans. I'm going to take the Lions.
We watched Jared Goff throw 5 interceptions and win a game, so I just don't see him losing the rest of the year, at least in the regular season.
Too soon.
They're sorry. They're a team who, if they can't pass the ball, you have 2 elite running backs. If you can't run the ball, you have St. Brown and Jamison Williams on the outside. There's just no holes. And then on defense, you lose Hutchinson, but you get Zadarius Smith. So they're just.
And then you have Brian Branch
Yeah,
playing
it's just-
safety free.
I just can't. It just feels like a 16-1 or 15-2 if you bench all your starters the last game of
Yeah.
season for the Lions.
I obviously gonna take the Lions. I think they are the best team in football right now. Like I said earlier, all facets of the game: offense, defense, special teams. In that two-headed monster in the backfield with Monty and Jahmyr Gibbs, it seems unstoppable right now, and I don't think the Colts have an answer.
Yeah, I feel like we got a lot of division games this week because we got the
We're getting there.
Miami Dolphins.
Oh, you took the pick. You already picked the
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
Taking-wise.
I would say it was universal.
By the way, I
right?
played
Yeah.
for Dan. I've never suited up for down of actual football in my life, but I would play for Dan Campbell.
You want to run through that wall?
I will.
You got
Let's
For
bust
him,
the
I will.
kneecap. Let's
This
bust the
is-
kneecap. You're all I think about.
Sorry. Okay. So, all right, jumping to a different division. We got the Dolphins hosting the. They might be good Patriots.
No, they're not. Drake May's good. Drake May's
Yeah.
good. Drake May's good.
All right. What do you? Who do you got going, Alex?
how do we go with Brian?
What up?
Because we're just
All
doing
right.
this.
All right.
All right.
Brian,
All right.
lead us.
I'm telling
Who
you.
would you like? Or who do you like in this game?
Like I've said, I mean, Patriots fans have taken away from the fact that they've lost a lot of close games, but hey, Drake May's good. And this is going to be another week of we lost, but Drake May's good. I think Drake May performs very well, but that team with Tua has seemed to kind of like bounce back up to where we've kind of seen the Dolphins. With how close the wild card is, the Dolphins are kind of in it, and they need to play like it, and I think they get the win.
I think Drake May is legit, and I think he's gonna be huge for the franchise. But they don't have anything after that. Drake May's throwing to Pop Douglas, so I'm gonna take the Dolphins and all their weapons.
And my bad pick, Polk.
There's a lot of
He's a
hope
rookie.
football.
He's a rookie.
Yeah, well,
I'm actually gonna go with the opposite. I think I'm gonna go with the Patriots in an upset game. I think they do just enough to kind of squeak by. I just don't think the Dolphins are that good, even with the weapons that they have.
Yeah.
They showed that. I mean, they looked inconsistent against the Raiders in Tua's game back. So I'm gonna go with the Patriots in kind of a shock.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be an ugly game. And like you said, the Dolphins haven't looked great. They had that good win against the Rams, but even that, I don't know. I just don't watch this team, and I don't get that same feeling I had last year. Tyreek, I feel like, he's taken like 3 steps back this year. He's certainly on the decline. I'm going to take the Dolphins, but I wouldn't be surprised.
you just hammered the Dolphins and then took them.
It is against the Patriots as
They're
well.
old,
fair.
they're
That's
slow,
fair.
they're washed up. They're gonna win.
But they're going to win.
But they're playing the Patriots.
It is
That's
the
the
Patriots. Let's Alrighty, and then we got the New York Football Giants hosting the Bucks off a bye. What do you got, Brian?
The Italian Stallion's back.
Bro,
You're gonna hate my pick.
But so is Mike Evans probably.
Yeah.
I think the Bucks aren't that bad. Todd Bowles is their coach. I like Todd Bowles a lot. I'm gonna take the Bucks.
I feel like the Giants come away and win this. You got Danny DeVito, who's proven he can win last year. It might not be pretty. He might have lost more games, but he can win. I think it's going to be more of does the team rally behind him. I feel like in the NFL, you see a lot of change lead to wins immediately, at least in that first week. New coach, you'll win that week. New quarterback, does the team rally around and, hey, we're going to support this guy. We're going to support the decision. We win that week. And the Bucks are good. I like Baker, but I'm going to go take the Giants.
All right.
Yeah, I am not gonna buy a ticket to the circus that's in New York.
Either
Simple
one
as
of
that. Yeah, either one. Whoever's playing at MetLife that week. Yeah, I think I don't really see this team going behind Danny DeVito over there, Tommy Danny DeVito. Just because I feel like when you have Drew Lock as your backup quarterback the entire season, and then you skip over him because your fans kind of like Tommy
they
DeVito
love
more?
Tommy DeVito.
right? I think the players realize like, hey, Drew Lock is he's our guy. He's been the guy that's ready to be when we needed him, if we ever needed him. But we're skipping over just to put a couple more butts in seats to watch and watch him do this if he scores a rushing touchdown
It's going to
randomly.
be cool.
Yeah,
It's going to
listen,
be cool.
Drew Lock kind of spun it last year for the Seahawks.
I mean,
Yeah,
So
one
I-
good drive. Yeah.
I don't know if I'll
That's kind of what we had.
I don't know if I'll really get on the I don't think the players are gonna get on the Tommy DeVito train. But I say that, but the Bucks defense is really bad. I think it's gonna be a shootout actually. So I mean, I still will take the Bucks by 4, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's 31-28, 32-28, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's not going to be a pretty game, but I like the Bucks coming off a bye, probably healthier now, and certainly you get a big boost if Mike Evans there. So I think for me, I'm going to take the Bucks.
Oh, I love the way this broke down. We did not pre-plan this, but it does turn out that his first guess will be as the Dallas Cowboys take on the Washington Commanders in Washington, D.C. Who do you have?
I mean, I can't even elaborate. It's going to be the Commanders. The Washington Commies are going to smoke them. They're going to blow them away. They're at home. Dan Quinn revenge game. I don't think the Cowboys score 10 points. I think Dan Quinn's going to have that defense flying, and then Jaden Daniels is going to run all over the place. And I think they have Brian Robinson healthy. It's just, it's going to be a massacre, and I will not be watching it. So I'll check in to see.
We'll be playing Sunday.
CD gets a couple catches, but yeah, we're going to be playing a baseball game. So Commies got this one.
Yeah, short and sweet. Give me the Commanders. I think talk about a previous two-headed monster in the backfield. Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler is looking nice, with Austin Eckler catching 9-10 balls a game. So we'll see if that continues this week.
Yeah, no, I think a big emphasis, aside from obviously winning, I think it's going to be to get Terry involved with only one catch last week. I think once you get him going, who's going to stop this Commanders team? Give me the Commanders this week.
Commanders. I'm taking the Commanders. All right. We have the Denver Broncos traveling to Las Vegas to play the Las Vegas Raiders.
Seasoned veteran Bo Nix is going to run all over, just dominate this game. Yeah, he's playing like a top quarterback right now. These last 4 or 5 weeks, Sean Payton and him have unlocked it. It's Broncos.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Broncos. But again, if I was a betting man and I was willing to take a risk, I could maybe see them slipping up against the Raiders in division, with the Raiders being at home. But I'm not. Give me the Broncos.
26-year-old rookie phenom Bo Nix will lead.
Fact check on
will lead these.
He might be 32.
Someone check his birth certificate.
He will lead them to a W this week.
I kind of agree with you, although I'm going to take the Broncos. This almost kind of seems like a must-win game for Antonio Pierce. Because he might get fired at the end of this year.
I think he's definitely going to get fired at the end of this.
But I'm going to take the Broncos. Fire his ass.
It might be one of those mutually agreed to part ways.
Yeah. Hey, if you don't mutually agree to part ways, we're going to fire you. So you might as well. It looks better.
Yeah. Sorry, Bo's 24, but you get the point.
Yeah. All right. We have the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Green Bay to play the Packers.
49ers haven't been all that great this year, and then you're losing your quarterback and your best top 2 defensive player. It's going to be Packers for me.
Yeah, Packers easy at home. You're playing Brandon Allen. Packers win by a lot.
Yeah, no, I think if you were going to see any game from CMC that you need to see the old CMC to give him a snowball's chance in hell, this is the game, but still, it's going to be the Packers.
2022 NFC Championship, put him at quarterback.
Yeah, it might be.
You might have to.
But the Packers are also good with no Purdy, obviously no Ayuk, and possibly no Trent. The Packers are just going to put maybe all 11 guys in the box.
Yeah, I would.
and stop CMC. You want to talk about maybe a game where Jordan Love doesn't have a pick and they blow the 49ers out. Just because I don't really see anybody on that defense with no Nick Bosa. They still don't have Greenlaw. I don't think. I think this game could be ugly and kind of, even though the 49ers are still in their division because nobody really likes to win games in that division. This is going to be a huge step back for them, I think, even though they have a lot of guys hurt. I believe this is my last game.
This next one's mine.
Yeah,
Okay,
there should be three left.
Three
left.
Cody, and these 3 are probably the most evenly matched games we have.
Yeah.
So first, this one is currently being picked at 50-50 on Sleeper. We have Arizona at Seattle. So, Red, what do you think?
My initial
This one is tough.
my initial thinking was Arizona, coming off of a bye, heal the bodies, get the mentality correct. Big in division game. I think they have a game up in the division. But then I go to the Seahawks, and I think Mike McDonald gets the defense there clicking at home. Must-win game. I think Seahawks win.
Okay.
Hey, if Call of Duty can't stop this man, neither can the Seahawks. Give me Kyler and the Cardinals.
I think this game kind of comes down to what defense for the Cardinals shows up, whether it's their Swiss cheese or whether they're maybe a top 5 defense in the NFL. They like to go both ways. I'm going to take the Cardinals because kind of what you said, Kyler Murray's really starting to produce like Kyler Murray did and kind of what we expected from him. I'm going to take the Cardinals.
I think Kyler Murray runs all over the place and kind of shows off why he might be the best quarterback right now in that division. I mean, you have Stafford, who's aging, and Brock, he's still up for debate if it's him or the team. I think Kyler's going to go out. I'm just saying. Kyler's going to show out and try to win that division this week. I think I'm going to take the Cardinals. So our next game, we have Eagles at Rams. This one is also pretty close to 50-50.
Give me the Eagles. I think they're gonna come in. I think Saquon is gonna run for a lot of yards. Honestly, just to put it simple, I mean, he looks unstoppable this season.
Yeah.
I don't really see the Rams stopping him. So give me the Eagles.
I think if you were to ask me about this Rams team that played on Thursday night, I think, I'm picking them. But from what we saw when they lost to, I can't think of it, who it was the Dolphins. And, they struggled last week against the Patriots where it wasn't that great of a win either. I think I got to lean Eagles. They're firing on all cylinders up with offense right now. And even the defense is looking really solid. So I think for me, I'm going the Eagles.
There's going to be some white-on-white crime in that game. I'm going to take the Eagles. The Eagles secondary looks very good. I don't know necessarily if you can stop Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, is just more kind of limit them. But I think they can limit them. Although I will tell you that somehow, even if the Philadelphia Eagles do lose, even though they're 8-3, you're going to hear a whole lot of fire Nick Sirianni chants again. Yeah. So we're going to see how that goes. But I'm going to take the Eagles.
Well, then I will be the person who takes the other team. And I think this Rams team's been completely different once they got Kupp and Puka healthy. You have Otto TD, Kyron Williams, and Jalen Hurts hasn't been all that great in these close games recently. So I'm going to take the Rams on this game. Our final Monday night, we talked about this one a little bit. We have the Ravens going to the Chargers.
I mean, yeah, big game, obviously. Huge game. I'm glad it gets a primetime spot. I feel a lot of eyes are going to be on it.
For sure.
Obviously, it being the Heart Bowl, that's going to put a lot more eyes on it even. I'm going to take the Ravens. You guys never see me pick against them, and I never will.
Must be nice.
But,
pick against
I'm going to pick the Ravens. If we limit the penalties, Derrick Henry had one recorded carry in the fourth quarter against the Steelers
That's
last
gross.
week.
In a close game, that's gross.
In a 2-point game, that could not happen this week. Give Derrick Henry the ball, opens up the passing, the play action game for Lamar. MV3 is going to come out with the win. We'll see.
Ooh, bold. God, man. I think this week, if we do see the penalties limit, even if it's just cut it down to half, 5, 6, even, 5.
We're giving by
70. I like their chances because we saw late in that game against the Bengals that the Chargers, they're playing great football, but they are open to that to where they don't look too great. Give me the Ravens in a bounce back spot here.
I kind of agree with you. It looks like the Chargers have but those are games that Chargers of the past would lose.
Yeah.
I actually have a question for you real quick after we do this, after he picks. I'm going to take the Chargers. It says, in my eyes, this is almost damn near a coin flip.
Yeah.
Obviously two very good teams. I just don't know if the Ravens are going to limit those penalties. And I think to any competent / good team in the NFL, you can't be giving them an extra 100 yards in penalties. Certainly when you have Justin Herbert on the other side, he's going to make you pay. So I'll take Chargers.
I think I would have taken the Ravens if Red didn't enlighten me on how many penalties. And it's 92. The Chargers are known for being in these close games. It feels like they're in one-score games all the time. And when you're having holding, false start, and then on top of it, you can't make a 45-yard field goal, I don't see how you can win that game. So I'm going to take the Chargers in this last one because of the issues on these close games they've been having.
All right, so the question I had for you is I know earlier in the year, I wouldn't say that you were on the fire Harbaugh wagon. You weren't. But does it make you nervous that it kind of seems like in these close games last week is one, last playoff is another, where we get to these close games and all of a sudden for the Ravens, the thing that they dominate at, the run game, is almost non-existent.
Mm.
But they ran the ball very limited in the playoff game they lost last year. And when the game got tight last week, they gave it to DH one time.
Yeah.
So are you a little nervous that when you get, maybe not against Chargers, although it might show against Chargers, when you get to this playoffs where you're playing like the Lions or the Chiefs or whoever it is, wherever you are in the playoff bracket, does that make you nervous that they're not going to be able to beat those elite teams when it gets down to that crunch time, 4 teams left?
I mean, yeah, I'd be a fool to say it doesn't make me nervous. I mean, watching all season, we've had a couple, dominant performances.
Yeah. Good team.
Yeah, great football team. But I mean, we scraped away from the Bengals both games. Really, I mean, giving up like 300 yards passing or 300 yards receiving to just Jamar Chase.
Thank you.
Thank you. Unheard of. But that also shows, obviously, defense is bad, but we still outscored them at the end of the day because the offense is good, right? But you look at Derrick Henry, he ate that game, right? At the end of the day, if we don't start running the ball more consistently, I think that it's going to show that because you need to run the ball against these good teams, against the Chiefs, against the Bills, against the Lions eventually, hopefully in the Super Bowl, we'll see. If you don't run the ball and you don't play good defense, you can't win a championship. Simple as that. Doesn't matter if you have Lamar Jackson in the backfield, playing quarterback, running, passing the ball. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have Derrick Henry in the backfield if you don't utilize him in the fourth quarter of a 2-point game. And I think if these penalties are limited, I'm of the idea that penalties, obviously the players commit them, but it's up to the coach, specifically the head coach, to teach and instill to not commit those penalties.
Would this be a time where if they lose in like the divisional round or maybe even in the championship game, that the fire Harbaugh gets loud? Especially if it continues where you're in a close game and they only give Derrick Henry the ball like 4 times in the second half.
Yeah. I mean, obviously people are saying, oh, that's the offense coordinator. No, it's up to the head coach to say, hey, Todd, we gotta run the ball more. Let's run the ball more, right? After every Ravens loss, you hear fire John Harbaugh. That's just how it is.
How it is.
I'm not that way. I mean, obviously he's one of the longest tenured head coaches in the league. I can see him. Obviously, he's going to make it through the season, but I think if we don't make it to an AFC championship or to the Super Bowl, I think this is his last year.
Speaking of longest tenured, just to end it on this, we were talking about stuff earlier. Mike Tomlin's never won a Coach of the Year award.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He's also never had a losing season.
Mr. Consistent.
Well, it's the voodoo magic, right?
Yeah.
It's black magic.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are saying there's a word in there of the reason why he didn't win a
Get
coaching,
fired.
get a coaching job.
Okay.
A lot of people were saying that. Not me, but a lot of people were saying
But
that.
he also was in the league when Belichick was the head coach of the Patriots,
3.
so that's a lot. I think McCarthy won when he was with the Packers. They won the Super Bowl, so it just depends.
I think it's easy to overlook consistency, and that's embodies it. So
but then some would argue, like, I know we're getting on a tangent, but if you're a Steelers fan, okay, we've been consistently above average.
Oh no, there are a lot of Steelers fans that kind of want Tomlin. Maybe not this season because they actually have taken that step forward. They've won a lot of games, but those seasons where they're in that purgatory where they go to the playoffs and
9-8,
9-8, and they're not getting a low draft pick, they're like, yeah, Tomlin's good. He's obviously good. He's winning with a shit roster.
Yeah.
But he's such a good coach, but we have such a bad team that we're middle of the pack. Something's got to change. But
it's a double-edged sword. Like, do you fire him? Do you fire one of the longest tenured, never had a losing season coach, and then you replace him with someone and you win 5 games?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
there's not that very many good coaches in the NFL.
So I don't
What,
see
about
him.
5
I don't see
or
him
6?
getting ever getting fired unless he loses like 10 games.
Which probably will never happen either.
Right. He's gonna leave on his own terms.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys, that's gonna wrap up our pick 'em for the week. Let us know what matchups you're excited for, and let us know if you agree or disagree with any of our takes. We love the good criticism. So we'll see you guys next time.
Start replying.